Hi, welcome to my show TikTok, where we talk about what makes successful people tick and what it took for them to pursue their passions, follow their dreams, and achieve their goals. I came to be a fan of our guest late in the game, and it was just about over a decade ago when I first watched her play the dual roles of Kate Monster and Lucy the Slut in Avenue Q, for which she won an Leo Award for Best Actress in a Musical. After that, I was a convert and made sure to watch all her musicals. Believe it or not, her career in the performing arts has lasted for 35 years, although she really doesn't look it. And with her many talents, versatility, and dedication to her craft, she has made very successful strides in musical theater, pop music, OPM, musical films, and even hosting. Been there, done that could very well be her motto. I'm so happy to have her with us today on TikTok. Please welcome the award-winning singer, theater and film actress, TV host, entrepreneur, and author, Miss Rachel Alejandro. Hi,
Hi,
Rach.
Myrza. How are
How
you?
are you?
I miss you.
I miss you too. Thank you so much for waking up before dawn to be on our show. What time is it there in New York?
Right now it's
Oh
five
my
in the
God.
morning. Yeah. We're 12 hours behind, and dito
And
ako
you
sa New York. Yeah, I've been here. I was in Manila for almost 2 months. But
right.
yeah, I came back here kasi nga my husband Carlos,
Hi, how are
who's also a
you?
friend of
Yeah.
Mirza's.
Yeah.
Yeah, he works here na kasi dito sa New York. So whenever
Right.
I'm not doing a project in Manila, I'm here. So yeah, so good. Congratulations on your talk show.
Oh my gosh.
It's so bagay
Oh
for
my
you.
gosh. I have you to thank because you were always on tour. You gave me the opportunity to pinch hit for you on Real Talk on CNN, and
Yes,
I'll
I
be forever
remember.
grateful also for all your advice. But anyway, back to you. How have you adjusted to life in New York?
In the beginning dito, so it's been about a year now, no? Since the pandemic started, and the New York was really the epicenter
Right.
of the virus during that time. So it was really scary here. Dun sa harapan ng building ng sister ko, she lives in Queens, no? She really saw that in the beginning, kasi di ba, it's really crazy how some people said, or maybe even continue to think, that the pandemic is somehow
Yeah.
a hoax. I mean,
Yeah.
some people still think this. Pero sabi
Even
ng
in New
sister
York.
ko, no,
Wow.
yes, well, they're not naman, no naman. But my sister was
Okay.
just saying that I can't. Sabi niya, I am a test. I have testimony. She said that this is real because she said may hospital kasi in front of her in on her block, and she
Right.
said there was a freezer truck
Right.
in front
Right.
of the hospital that was
Oh
just
my
there the whole
gosh.
time. You know what that was for. And honestly, like
Yes.
after a few months, it was there for months. And then after a
Right.
few months, nawala na yon. And of course, that's when medyo gumanda na nga yung situation here. And I guess because of the fact that New York was hit hardest early on, I think New Yorkers really, gave this a proper respect, and you don't have to be fearful exactly, but you also have to take you have to respect this, and you have to take the right precautions, while at the same time also focusing on health. Because Mirza, I think one of the things I was hoping to discuss with you, because I know you're also an advocate for a healthy lifestyle. you
Right.
know
Right.
guys, si Mirza talaga ang ang queen ng
No.
she always eats healthy, and of course she always looks amazing, and of course that's kasi part of your trade, 'di ba? This is what you've been doing since you were young. You've had to maintain yourself, and of course it's I guess whatever works for you, 'di ba? And a healthy lifestyle has worked wonders for you, as it has for me. Even when I was in my early or mid 20s, laman na ako ng gym nun pa man,
Right. Right. Right.
but
Right.
the healthy eating really didn't start until maybe the early 2000s, when I started my business as Sexy Chef. And one of the things that I can really say is that while there has been so much emphasis on keeping safe and staying home, there's also the other side or the other way to protect yourself against COVID is that you have to build a strong body, build a strong immune system. And I think not a lot of focus has been given to that.
Right.
And of course, that starts with a healthy state of mind, enough sleep. Kasi kung stress ka, di ba, mahirap makatulog
Right.
properly. Enough sleep, and of course, good natural food. And how do you serve your family? How do you put healthy food on the table when when you don't have money to buy healthy food, diba? So those are the things. Mahirap siyang balansehan. We need to look at the entire problem, and certainly there are no easy answers for that.
Right. So I suppose your gym attendance has not waned in the last year. I've seen your videos where you are still going to the gym. Never stop.
Yeah, so there, last year the gyms here in New York reopened in September. So while it was closed from March to September, I was doing home videos. Pero you know what? There's nothing like going to the gym kasi. Because let's face it, it's hard for many of us to be motivated when we're on our own, no? Like it's hard to motivate yourself. It's I think I push myself more when there's an instructor or there are other people doing around you. Diba? You're like,
accountability.
You're mahihiya. Mahihiya ka to be tamad in the class. And the thing is, when you've already put on the gym clothes and you've already gone to the gym, nandun ka na right? So it's not like, oh, I'm already here, I might as well do it, right? So I think that was a huge factor for why I inevitably, I'm sure many of us inevitably put on a little bit of weight during the pandemic. Because walang gym, we were staying home. Even if you work out with your videos, parang alam mo yun, yung parang, sige, 30 minutes na lang. Parang cut it short, sabi, parang matapos na lang. So although outdoor, for the group classes, they were only allowing outdoor. So when the winter came in December, they stopped the classes. So I cut my membership and all that. But 2 days ago was the very first time that they allowed indoor group classes here in New York.
Wow,
again,
buti pa dyan.
pero 1/3 capacity. Pero when I was in Manila for almost 2 months. I still worked out with a trainer. Yun nga lang, nandun kami sa isang private room, diba? Away from everybody else.
Right. Well, not now because as you know, things are crazy out there, but we'll talk about that another time. You've also taken some online acting classes, am I right?
That's right.
What was that like?
Yeah, so I've taken acting courses before, but this was the first time that I took one online, and I have to say it's a different experience. I learned a lot from the class, definitely. But
was this the Stella Adler?
Yes, it was Stella Adler, and it was a scene study class. So it was like there are 2 levels to scene study. So it's about taking let's say in our case kasi, what they made us do was they made us learn a monologue. So it can be a monologue from a play. It can be a monologue. A monologue means that you're the only one speaking, and it's a long, usually a 5-minute. You have to memorize 5 minutes worth of ikaw lang yung nagsasalita.
Right.
So it was a great. Pero ang hirap pala to do it on Zoom because your attention span natin, diba? So it was a 2.5-hour class, and you're not on all the time because of course there were I believe there was at least 8 of us that were participating in the class, and while the others of course are doing and are being given notes and tips from the instructor, syempre you're there and you're just watching. I was like imagining that if this were a class that was live and like in person, that I probably would have not felt I wasn't bored. It was more parang, di ba when you're on Zoom, di ba when you're in a very long Zoom meeting, sometimes you get parang, you lose energy. But I mean, gosh, that's, by the way, I wanted to ask you also, where did you get the idea to do TikTok, and what made you decide to do an online show?
Well, I always wanted to have a talk show after the Real Talk experience.
Right, this is fun, diba?
Right. And after, because I had retired from corporate life in 2019. So after 25 years in Summit, I left to pursue the things that I wanted to do. And then, so I was gearing up towards that, hoping. But then the pandemic happened. And I thought, I'll just make my own. And so here we are, pivoting.
And it was perfect. It was perfect for this time because, it's good to keep people company since a lot of people are on their phones, on their laptops, and so
were your acting classes part of a bigger plan to try and make it in New York? Because if you can make it there, although
you can make it anywhere.
Although parang standstill ngayon ng theater, right?
Although
the industry.
I was very encouraged that Dr. Fauci supposedly made a fearless forecast that baka daw September. He says if everything goes, if things go as well as they do, as well as they are going right now, that September could be the reopening of Broadway daw. But I of course it's the dream of every performer to be cast in a Broadway play or musical, but I temper my expectations. I'm I am like the worst when it comes to auditioning. I'm terrible. I'm terrible at auditioning. I have to admit, I have never auditioned for anything here in the US. Never, not even once. I've been
really?
Never. So I've it's something na kasi just the idea of it, parang gusto ko nang himatay. I feel like my throat's like,
But you're such a veteran. And I thought it was always your dream to make it there, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. But in the beginning, in the early 2000s, the route that I had that I originally intended to go on was recording. Syempre freshness pa tayo nung mga araw na yon.
Freshness ka pa rin hanggang ngayon.
Thank you.
You can still say you're 30.
Ano lang yan, ring light.
I know. Thank God for ring lights.
Yes, diba, beauty light. Anyway,
right.
Of course. I mean, I would still love to be able to do that someday. I've never not tried to. So maybe you never know when things get back to normal here. New York naman has more than 26% of New Yorkers have had the first dose of the vaccine.
Okay.
So we're slowly getting there. So things are kind of looking up. It's just that I don't know if you saw this in the news, but there was like a crazy party in Florida. Teka muna.
Super spreading already.
I know. Kasi people are just aching to get out.
Right.
Yeah, but we can hold on for one more day as the song goes.
I love when you said temper your expectations. It's so telling about your mindset and perhaps your maturity also, having been a industry veteran. Can you tell us about how you have learned to do that, and what were your expectations when you were young, and how have you tempered them in your later years?
Well, you know what, there is the things that you plan, and then there's what really happens, diba? Reality. I had planned on one of the reasons why I applied for it's what you call an E11 visa, which is Artist of Extraordinary Ability, which is the same as what Lea Salonga applied for back in the day when she was performing on Broadway here. It's when I got that visa a long time ago, I thought that I would really make a push for a career here in the US. But there's your talent, and then there's your effort, and then there's how much money you have in the bank
Right.
to sustain yourself here. Because it means that if you're here and you're not working, then, di ba, it's all palabas, di ba? So of course,
Right.
balik din
Right.
ako ng balik to the Philippines, and every time I would go back, syempre matitigil na naman yung ano
Mm.
dito, 'di ba? Like the effort at, finding work here in the US. So that it became that way in the beginning. So like I said nga, there's what you wanted and then there's what you had to do or you ended up having to do. So I'm not saying that, I mean, young people that are watching right now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't go for your dreams, but you should definitely go out there and give it a shot. That's what I'm saying. But at the same time, you have to also be prepared for what life actually has in store for you. And in my case, in 2004, I ended up starting a business in the Philippines called the Sexy
Right.
Chef, and that
Right.
became, also a very, very, very
By
big
the
part
way,
of my
thank
life.
you for catering.
Yes.
Thank you for catering today's
you-
episode.
Oh, thank you,
Thank
for trying
you.
our food. That's
Yes,
because
my
we're
pleasure. I'm
actually
so excited about the bibingka.
bibingka, low carb, sugar-free
Low carb
bibingka,
and
and of
sugar
course
free.
the fudgy brownies and the vegan Korean bibimbap. So
Right,
yeah,
right.
we're actually the Sexy Chef that is starting, of course, beyond diet food, beyond weight loss. We've started delivering that in meals like what Myrza just got today for virtual meetings and celebrations. So if you have a wellness event or a birthday celebration on Zoom, the Sexy Chef delivers meals to all of your attendees, and we
Right.
can, So like I was saying, yeah, diba, life is what happens while you're busy making plans, and sometimes you don't expect that you could get, because food is also one of my
Right.
other passions, much as I
Okay.
love to
Right.
sing and all of that. And of course, years later, in 20, if I'm not mistaken, 2016, was the very first time that a group of friends and I decided to produce a play. So I didn't know that I would end up doing that. We produced Love Sick with a group of
Mm.
friends. It was really just out of passion. We loved it. It was such a huge hit. We had, we didn't expect it. And I love producing also. So
Oh.
I was also a part of the producing team of Ang Larawan. So,
Yes.
apparently, things, it was not what I intended. And then, of course, what happened was, because of the fact that I have this resident green card here in the US, my husband, ngayon, we applied for a green card for him, and now he works here in New York. So now
Oh.
he works in New York, I work in Manila, and I shuttle back and forth between New York and Manila, and that's the real life that happened.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah.
So, do you have advice for those who are just starting out about, like, looking back on your career and what you expected didn't always turn out to be what was the reality? What's your advice for people who are maybe anxious, and especially now that it's very challenging times? I heard in an interview that when your dad told you to expect 2 years of not working and then you cried.
Yeah.
Right. What do you have to
Yeah.
say to boost the morale of those just starting out and maybe acting or singing or the movies?
Yeah. So while being an artist, being a singer is a source of livelihood. It's certainly, for instance, in my dad's case, he raised all of us on his voice, on his golden voice. He put us
Right.
through school. It is definite. It can be lucrative. It can be something that can, di ba, marami nga sa mga artista natin in the Philippines are the breadwinners of yung mga kanilang mga pamilya. But at the same time, especially now, for many of us singers, since we're not doing concerts right now, there's really very little income to be
Right.
had, diba? I mean, real income. Of course, we've had our little guestings here and there on
Right.
TV, and we've had a few corporate gigs online, diba? May mga ganon. But yeah, for on the whole, I think, we have to not forget that at the end of the day, it's an art, right? And we should never lose the love for creating and putting
Right.
out something new, which is why I came out with a new single called
Yes.
Takipsilim, because
Right.
even if,
Right.
di ba, whenever you're a singer, ganyan, oy, kailangan maglabas tayo ng bagong album, let's record a new album. And what is that for? Of course, when you record new music, that's again an avenue for you to do concerts and all of this money making stuff. But at the same time, we must never lose sight of the fact that we should we if the spirit moves us, of course we should create something beautiful for the sake of just creating, and
Right.
I was so inspired because who never fails to keep doing that are members of my own family. Nino
Wow.
Alejandro, yeah, my cousin Nino Alejandro has been putting out singles on Spotify. He just had he came out with a duet with Nicole Laurel Asensio called Ngayon Gabi, and it's had hundreds and hundreds of thousands of streams. Who knew that would happen now, di ba? Sabi ko nga, wow, Nino, you're a pandemic star.
Yeah, I always see him on
He's
Kumu
on Kumu. He's a
without
Kumu.
fail.
He's one of the most he's so
He's
successful. Like, who
Kumuzan.
knew? Diba? And he was one of
Right.
the pioneers of that. And so I was so inspired by him. I'm so inspired by Luigi Basabas Alejandro of Mojo Fly, my sister-in-law, and my brother Ali, because you know what? They were creating a cooking show, and they would like post it
Oh,
lang on YouTube. They would shoot, kasi my brother has a video production company. So they would shoot like this cooking show, and the background music while she's cooking are original songs that they composed. And I'm
wow.
like, sabi ko, Ali, kailan kayo nagkaroon ng oras to do that? Sabi ko,
Career.
tignan nga namin career, di ba? And it's like, alam mo yun, kasi artists sila. Alam mo yun, they're the real thing. And, it's so easy kasi sometimes, di ba, when we get so busy with life, di ba? And just, may schedule ka, may guesting ka today, or you have this promo, you have this show, you have to go to this hotel to sing 3 songs, you get so caught up, diba? And I think that's what, I guess in a way, that's what this time has it's created time. It's you can now carve out time to create. And so my dad actually is releasing a brand new single also on March 26th. So you guys watch
Okay.
out for that. It's a beautiful new song. When I heard it, talagang tumayo yung balahibo ko. So I said, Dad, it's so beautiful. It's so perfect for you. It is in the Haji Alejandro signature style, but it's about what's in his heart right now as a performer.
Right.
And it's
Let's
it's
talk
it's it's
about.
called Dati. It's called Dati. So I'm so excited for
Okay.
you guys to hear it. And of course, Takipsilim has been
Yes.
released. Takipsilim has been released a few weeks ago on Spotify, and it's on the music video is also now on the YouTube channel of Rebel Records Philippines.
Right. I was trying to play it, but Facebook keeps muting the audio. So I'm gonna attempt again to play it. So please talk about Takipsilim and how it came to be. Tell us the story of its birth and the idea that spawned it while
Yeah,
I fiddle with it with the
sure,
control. Go
yeah.
ahead. Go
Sometimes
ahead.
because Facebook has these weird things with
Yes.
copyright. So
Copyright.
yeah, but
Right.
best effort.
Yes.
Anyway,
Okay.
so
Go ahead.
so Takipsilim, my cousin Nino and I, when I was in Manila nga, in December, we had dinner, and then we were thinking about, sabi ko, oh, you know what, I would love to record a new song. And naisip namin, what's the easiest thing to find, what's the quickest way to find a new composition. So we put a contest out online on our social media accounts and on Kumu also. And we invited amateur and professional composers to submit their composition to Nino. So within a few days, we received this submission from a very young composer. 19-year-old Rain Santana submitted the song Takipsilim, and we were just blown away by the song. Kasi the melody is so, it has a very memorable hook, and at the same time, even better than the melody are the lyrics, which can be about somebody who's heartbroken and is looking to, kasi Takipsilim in English means twilight, which is the period between sunset and night. So it's that time of day where there's very, very little light left in the sky. So yeah, and so it's like it's about having maybe the last shreds of hope, and maybe that people these days that's something that people can relate to, that we just need to hang on and look to the last rays of light in the sky, to give us that hope that tomorrow will be a new day.
Great. I can't seem to get it to work, but I did share it on my Facebook pages. So
Yay,
they can
thank
just
you.
look it up. And it's also on YouTube and Spotify, right?
Yes, it is. It is. So for anyone who wants to view the music video, yes, just go to Rebel, just like and subscribe it. Rebel Records Philippines YouTube channel. And of course on my social media accounts also. And Myrza's. Just look for the post where she shared the music video there.
Right. So I never knew you had a title, Queen of Heartbreak Songs. Is that right? Everyone has to have a title here, like Queen of Song, Pop Princess, Pop Diva. How did it come about, and why? How many heartbreak songs have you, heartbreak hit songs have you released, or are you known for?
I guess people that came about in the mid 90s because of the songs Nakapagtataka and Paala Na, which were I guess some of the biggest heartbreak hits. At that time, ang tawag pa dun sa mga songs na ganyan in the 90s was senti. That's why I had an album entitled Sentimental, because of that term senti.
So now it's called
Hugot. Now it's Hugot. Parang that if you were to have an album now, parang pangit naman yung title na Hugot. Pero the term Sentimental sounded very classy.
Right.
So,
and we're a sentimental people, so I'm sure it really, really resonates. I'm also impressed by how you have traversed like all sectors of society, different kinds of genres. Like you can sing a Hugot heartbreak song or make chikahan on a morning show with a very mass audience. And then this is like in the course of my research, speak very articulate about theater and, do all the highbrow musicals. Explain to us how this happened. Like, I'm so impressed. That was the secret.
Okay, the best analogy for what best way that I can describe myself is I'll take it from what my acting instructor said at the beginning of the course. He said that artists, or in case of what he was teaching in the class, sabi niya, he thinks that actors can be categorized into two groups. You are either a star or a talent. And we said, what does that mean? Star kung sikat ka if you're successful, and your talent if you're more talented pero you weren't that successful. And he said, no, that's not it at all. He said, people that disappear into their craft or whatever it is, the current project, those are talents. Sabi niya, perfect example would be like a Meryl Streep. Diba?
Right.
Meryl Streep disappears. There's no Meryl Streep. She goes into the role and it's the role. And sabi niya, a star is like a Meg Ryan, because in every role, there's a little bit of a Meg Ryan. Diba?
Right.
Whether it be a twitch, whether it be the voice, there's a cuteness, diba? It's always the Meg Ryan cuteness. And basically she gets cast in stuff because if you need an actress who's very charismatic and is cute, and ganyan, you would cast a Meg Ryan. And I said, aha. I said, so that's what it is. Okay. I said, so I am a talent. Yes, I mean, there has been some level of success, but I'm more of a talent. And that's because I transform. I whatever occasion it is instant for me to change the way that I speak. I can
Right.
change accents. I can, depending on who I'm talking to.
Right.
If I'm talking to a Pinoy, diba, I'll speak in the way that Pinoy speak. If I'm
Right.
talking to someone here in the US and I want to be understood, I'll speak that way as well. Pero sa bagay, hindi naman ako lang yan. Tayong mga Pilipino, we
Right.
have
Right.
that talent to switch it up. And I think that's the reason why we do so well all over the world. And that's why Filipinos have been cast on Broadway, in the West
Right.
End, because we are malleable, because we are, yes, of course, there are fantastic, original, very, very original artists. And an example of that is my father. Haji Alejandro doesn't sound like anybody else. He is a star because he's, yung boses niya, diba? It's always Haji, right?
Right.
It's very,
Right.
very
Right.
distinct. But in my
Right.
case, that's the reason why, like you mentioned kanina, you mentioned Avenue Q. I would
Right.
have two puppets sometimes in one scene talking to each other, and I would change
Right.
the voice within seconds.
Right.
So I'm holding two puppets and they're talking, and then
Incredible.
I switch from one. So it's that. I'd
Right.
like to think that we Filipinos, that's why we do so well in musicals, is because marami sa ating are chameleons like that as well.
Right.
Karma chameleon.
And in your last two big film projects, you did particularly well in period music. Not musicals. Period.
Okay.
Period films, like when you played. Was it Candida or Paula? I'm sorry.
Yes, I was Paula.
You were Paula.
I
From
was
Paula
the sweet.
to
I was the sweet
Mrs. Quezon. Tell us about that
Yes.
experience. And it must have been such a thrill to like be transported back in time and learn the nuances of how people spoke before.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Because
Yes,
it's so
beautiful.
different.
It's so different. And we our director Loy Arsenas actually, he made us watch. One of the assignments that we had very early on, we had several workshops with him. We rehearsed the film. Actually, we rehearsed parang we did a musical or a play. In fact,
Okay.
even more so, we rehearsed for nearly a year. Hindi naman tuloy-tuloy, but like, because we were working with the schedule of Joanna Ampil, who of course was in and out of the Philippines, also doing her her projects abroad. So one of the things that he made us watch were old films of how women behaved back in the day.
Right.
And of course, you had to slow down all
Right.
of your movements. And of course, there was the way that they sat, and the way that, hindi pwedeng masyadong malikot. That's why, all of our movements, it was almost like you were like walking in water in a way, and we had to
Slow
slow
motion.
down. And you couldn't be, kasi mga babae noon, 'di ba, laging
Right.
postura.
Right.
And then he would always remind me, pag may dumating na, let's say a visitor or somebody that didn't live in the house, it was custom for women to do this. And I see my Lola doing that.
Oh.
She does this. Yeah, she fixes her
Okay.
hair.
The mannerism.
That's why in the movie, that's why in the movie, even in my first shot, when I come out of from another room, and then the visitor Bitoy Camacho,
Right.
there was a visitor in the house. She goes like this to her hair, making sure na nakaayos. Little things like that. That they're part of the.
Yeah. Did you also watch the English version of the movie, Portrait of the Artist? I was so shocked that they were speaking straight English.
Yes, because the play by Nick Joaquin was in the original play is
Right.
English. So
Right.
yeah, that yes, I saw not the whole, almost the whole film.
Right.
I wanted to see it before we started rehearsing for Ang Larawan.
Right.
Sabi nga, they said yung mga babae nga nung araw, especially the ones that we were portraying, they were almost like parang ang ano nila is para silang mga teacher, di ba? Yung medyo, especially the role of Candida, because the role I played, Paula, was the meeker, soft-spoken one, but the one that Joanna Ampil played, she's, di ba, medyo,
she's more galaw-gaw.
and a little bit more stern and
okay.
or more a little bit distant, and you know.
And then how did you
So,
transform into Aurora Quezon?
and with Aurora naman, I did not have, obviously there were, I tried my very, very, very best to find any kind of footage that showed how she would behave or speak, but I couldn't find anything. So I just decided to have, at least for her speech, I heard kasi a speech by Quezon himself. So I based it on that. So he sounded very much like how really older politicians speak,
Right.
diba? Especially when
Orators.
especially when they're, speaking in public, diba? Yung mga public speeches, diba? So binis ko lang dun yung accent more or less. I tried as much as I
Right.
can to put in that kind of yung 'di ba yung when older people, 'di ba, how they talk, ganon. So yun lang, that's what I tried. And then of course I just filled myself with a lot of, in every scene that I did, I just filled myself with, kasi Aurora was known for her bravery, for kindness, kaya nga 'di ba there's an Aurora province, Aurora Boulevard. She was,
Ah,
yeah,
kaya pala.
she is like almost like a patron saint in a way. She was the mother of the Philippine Red Cross. She, she fought for women to be able to vote, for the right of suffrage. She did great, great, great things. So the thing is, what is she in real life? Because a lot of the scenes that I did with
Right.
Raymond Bagat Singh were
Yeah.
bedroom. Diba? There are a lot of
Right.
it was bedroom scenes. And how would
Right.
she behave when it's just the two of them, pag mag-asawa lang, diba? Which is different from how you would behave in public. So those are the
Right.
things that I explored with our director, Direk Matthew. And he
Right.
said, you can still have a playful thing when it's like, so of course the banter, diba?
Right.
The banter of them, the two of them speaking to each other in the bedroom was also something interesting. And I thought that it worked so well because I just, Quezon kasi is like an older cousin to Aurora. So she looked up to him. He, I think, paid for part of her, from what I've read in the past. Parang he actually sponsored part of her schooling at one point. So there's a
Right.
lot of like more of that. Na she really let him be the star of the show, kumbaga. So yeah, but at the same time, of course, as they say, diba, there's behind every great man is a great woman, and that's what I tried
Right.
to put in the character.
Right. And applying this to your life, behind every great couple, it's a lot of challenges that they need to work out. What have you found out about love and marriage in your 40s? You with Carlos, you've gone through, how many years have you been married? Almost 10 or turning 10 this year?
This year turning 10. Yes, in fact,
Wow.
we're on April 9. On April 9.
Oh, wow.
I know you celebrated, was it 2 years ago?
Yes,
Your 10 2 years
2009.
ago. I remember, I
Right.
saw that. Yeah, you
So
had a renewal. You had a renewal.
yes, right. So
Actually,
you've been through. Oh, go ahead.
I tried to convince Carlos to have a renewal, and I showed him your Facebook post. Sabi ko, Myrza and Andre you had a renewal.
We didn't actually renew anything. We just took pictures.
Okay. Kasi you
But
had the diba? You had
Right.
you were in that dress and
Right.
it was really beautiful. But anyway, so
Right.
yeah, no luck. He said no. Sabi niya, you've had one wedding. That's it. That's enough.
So
Anyway,
what's the secret to marriage? I mean, you've gone through some differences in with first nationality or location,
right.
occupations, right? Long distance, navigating the long distance part of it, and finally now you're together. 10 years, looking back through 10 years. What's the epiphany?
The epiphany. Ayan.
Yeah.
So the epiphany is that it's the same as what the thing that I mentioned to you earlier, which is that you have to you really have just to roll with it, and because you never know, you never know what's going to happen, and you just have to also wait things out. Being patient actually works wonders, and just waiting out any kind of problem or any kind of kink that you may be experiencing in the marriage. Because, and I'm going to say this because it was very, very tough for us to be in a long distance relationship for such a long time. When we first got married, kasi Carlos lived in Bangkok, and we weren't sure when we would have the opportunity to actually live together in the same place. And then we moved to New York for 10 months. We went back to the Philippines, and then it's been a tumultuous time,
Right.
because nga, diba? And now for the past 3 years, Carlos has been here working in New York, and I keep going back and forth to Manila. In the beginning, Carlos was not really okay with it. He kept saying na parang, this is too difficult. I thought he said, at least I thought that the goal was for us to live and work in the same place.
Right.
And I said, well, I can't snap my finger and have a job in New York. That's not that it's not up to me, diba? I can try, but it's not. But ito yon. As we get older, and as we get to know each other, diba? We get to appreciate, especially during the pandemic, since you're a lot of the time, for weeks and weeks and months on end, we had nobody else really except each other. So that
Right.
really strengthened the marriage. But even before that, he realized that, you have to also parang think about, are you better together or apart? And I think that's what he had to reflect on. And in my case, there were times that I would have stood my ground and just say na, sige, kung ayaw mo na, then
Right.
I'm sorry, but this is me. I'm a singer, I'm a performer. But no, I'm patient. I took my time. And I waited it out. I waited it out. Because even if things are not, diba, in marriage, there's always something, whether it be a job opportunity, or there's something that one of you wants to do and the other one doesn't want to do it. Sometimes, time takes care of it. Kasi you never know it. It's so easy for us to jump in and already like, teka muna, what about me? And
Right.
and I think if you just, and of course you have to have a strong enough foundation in the first place. And so I think
Right.
it's great when you marry someone that you actually like. That you
Because some people don't, right? Or
because
they marry
yeah,
something they
even
don't
if you're
like.
super, super different. I mean, Carlos and I are so, so, so different. We are the most polar opposites of people that you can
Really? How
imagine.
so?
Oh my gosh, I miss party celebration, blah blah blah. And I know you find it hard to believe, because you would see Carlos in M Cafe being his,
Right. Right.
his super like diba? Ano ba yan? Social butterfly self. But actually
Right.
he's really like, he's grumpy cat.
I
Okay,
thought you were a grumpy cat.
no, I'm not grumpy cat.
Oh, he is?
He is the grumpy cat.
Okay.
I am so not grumpy. I am miss
Okay.
celebrations, parties, and trips and fun things, and and he's frugal. He's not necessarily practical, but like more parang, he's the planner. He's very, so you really have to, sometimes when there's something that I want, I say that I want it, ayaw muna niya, and then you wait it out. So I may still get that second one.
Okay. Right. Wag lang nag-aantay ng wala. Because some women wait and wait and wait.
True. And of course, I don't. I'm not saying that if it's something na, if the man, naman when it's time to go, when it's time
Right.
to say goodbye. If it's really not working out, and it's obviously, if it's really, it depends. There are many situations you can't. Certainly, if there's no more respect left in the
Right.
marriage, and if you feel like you are already turning into someone that you don't like and you don't like
Right.
yourself, I mean, no amount of waiting will work.
How did the two of you meet?
We met at a quiz night.
Oh, wow.
My sister Barney introduced us at a bar during a quiz night. Because Carlos was on an opposite team that her group was competing with, and she noticed him right away because he's guapo.
Okay.
Yeah, so she introduced us a few weeks later. Yeah, and that was it. Very short period of time from there we got married, because that's what I think long distance relationships do, is you, I think, either break up or
Right.
you make a a commitment, because
Right.
certainly having no commitment for a long distance relationship is quite a bit more challenging.
Right. I was also surprised and proud to, in the course of my research, find out
Mm-mm.
that you said in an interview that one of the most difficult but important decisions you've ever made was to be childless by choice. And I thought that took a lot of guts, because I'm the same, but sometimes I'm hesitant to blurt it out loud because people never understand, right? And I'm sure, did you
Yeah.
go through like the comments or the bugging, or, especially as you advanced in age? Tell us about what that's like so that people who can relate can, find inspiration.
Mm-mm. I don't know about in your case, Mirza, if this was a conscious decision that you made, but I
Right.
think we make, kasi it's not something, because maybe in some cases, in the case of some people, they decided it early on and just said,
Right.
I don't want children, that's it, because
Right. Right.
it's
Right.
not part of what I want for my life, right? And some
Okay.
couples decide that, or in some
Right. Right.
cases, 'di ba, nature decides it for them, in
Right.
which
Right.
case then that can also be very very upsetting. But in my case, it was not a definite decision, but I made that choice with every decision that I made on a daily basis. So accepting projects, accepting movies, accepting musicals, blah blah blah. I it was a conscious effort, not a conscious effort. Sorry, the opposite. That every day you choose work, you choose your career over a life with children, because certainly you would have to choose one or the other, at least for a period of time, diba? I mean, you'd get pregnant, you can't take, obviously you'd have to cancel this project, you'd have to cancel this tour, this concert tour, diba? And I always chose that. And
Right. Right.
then, but don't get me wrong, I'm normal. I'm like any other woman out there who has doubted that
Right.
decision time and
Right.
time again. Maybe in your case, Mirza, you've doubted that decision, but once in a while I think back and go, did I make a mistake? you know, it's normal, but then wala na, 'di ba? I mean, at this age, it's already not impossible, but
Right.
certainly quite a bit harder for women our age
And
to
do
do
the
something like this.
comments bug you? I'm sure you haven't heard the end of it since you got married.
Always people asking. Nobody naman judgmental. Thankfully, nobody
Okay.
naman.
Right.
The harshest was, sayang naman, ang ganda siguro ng anak niyo.
Right.
Ayan, diba? It was already that's the it, kasi sabi nila, ano daw, the combination of the two of us would have been great. So we have this what I always refer to as an imaginary child. I picture him in my head. Him. I don't know why it's a boy. It's always a boy. But I picture him like a baby Carlos. It's a baby Carlos I picture in my head. And what he wears glasses kasi we're both malabo ang mata. Really,
Right.
really, really terribly myopic. So yeah, that I have that what could have been, and that will always be there. And it's a path, it's a road not taken,
Right.
right? And you
Right.
chose to always go this way, this way. So,
Right.
yeah.
Right. I'm looking forward to the day when you'll play Lenny Robredo as you
Oo nga.
as you told her that basta pag may movie tungkol sa buhay niyo, may idea na kayo.
That was just the funniest. You know that to this day, I still get comments on my Instagram posts.
I didn't
Ma'am
even
Lenny,
realize
nasa New
it.
York naman po pala kayo.
Is she somebody that you admire?
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Oh, yes.
Oh yes.
Me too.
Yes. I'm I want to thank her, and of course she was so cute about it too.
Right.
When people started sending her my picture, at first daw nga sabi niya, I was confused. Why are people sending me a photo of Rachel Alejandro in Palawan? What's this?
Right.
Tapos sabi niya, no ma'am, kasi somebody said na ikaw daw po yan, and that nagbabakasyon daw po kayo sa Palawan. I think the guy that posted it first really meant it as a joke, and then it just blew up.
Oh,
But anyway,
okay.
she messaged me on the comments nga na sabi niya, pasensya ka na, nadamay ka pa in this blah blah blah. So of course I wrote her back in when I said nga na kung may
Right.
movie about her blah blah blah, and that I think she's done so much given the limited
Right.
resources that she's had, that she's helped a lot of
Right.
people during the pandemic, and that's no fanfare about it at all. Just do it.
Right. Just work.
Just do the job. And you know what? Women during the
Right.
pandemic,
Women.
a lot of the best pandemic
I
responses
think
around
all.
the world.
All the female-led
Taiwan,
countries.
New Zealand. I think women should actually be given more opportunities to actually lead, especially something as complicated and detailed as this, because it
Right.
needs somebody with a
Right.
passion for details, a passion to
Right.
get things done. I'm not saying that there are no men that have this. I'm just saying women have
It's
this
rare.
the compassion and the for
Right.
details, 'di ba? For
Right.
no,
Right.
ito pa, gawin pa natin to
Right.
kasi blah blah blah. Anyway, so I think Lenny,
And the lack of ego maybe is a
the
female
lack of
trait.
ego, precisely that. Precisely that. Yung
What's
ano
your
lang,
message? Yung ano lang? Tawa na lang. So,
Tawa na lang.
what's your message to all the Pinoys back here coming
Mm.
from there? And I'm sure you're reading about all the upsetting news about the surge in the cases, and 1 year later, parang deja vu from March of 2020. Maybe you have some inspiring or encouraging words from all the way
Yeah.
from New York.
Yeah, so natawa na nga lang ako because I saw on my cousin Nino's Facebook post. He just posted 2020 season 2.
So accurate.
It's accurate, diba? Sabi ko, oh my gosh, and of course, obviously this isn't, but here's the thing, is we're not alone. It's not happening only in the Philippines, even in Europe.
Right.
The people are there have been lockdowns, and then
Right.
reopen na naman,
Lockdown.
lockdown, and because that's the behavior of the virus, is that it's really among us. And the thing is nga, like I mentioned earlier, there has not been enough focus on protecting people and making them healthier, so that
Right.
because since the virus is among us, it's impossible for you not to test positive. Maybe
Right.
at some
Right.
point the chances of that is quite high for many of us, especially those that need to be out there, because not everybody can stay home. A lot of people have to work, a lot of people have to go on the train, on the buses, all that, diba? And really, there's no need to fear. What you need to do is to boost your own strength and your own health, so that when you do catch the virus, that your
Right.
body is able to deal with it, and that you prevent hospitalization and death. So that's why nga the vaccines are, I think, kasi I wanted to explain pala, sorry, thank you for giving me this opportunity, just very quickly. I said something kind of controversial and kind of cheeky and medyo papiloso po when I was interviewed during a press conference that I had about my song Takipsilim. Somebody asked kasi, anong masasabi mo sa mga taong ayaw magpa-vaccine? And I said something very kind of alam mo yung, kasi di ba, sometimes, di ba,
Right.
yung parang, ay nako, yung ganon,
Yeah, yeah,
yung
yeah.
ganong, and what I said was, well, katawan nyo yan, obviously no one can force you naman to do anything and to take anything na ayaw mo. If you think that it's not going to be good for you or it's not safe, then don't do it. But I said, then wag kang lumabas. That's what I said. And honestly, that was not the correct thing to say. Because obviously not everybody has a choice to do it or
Right.
not. And of course, we also need to live with the virus at the same time while the vaccines are not here. So the correct response, honestly, is this. For those of you who are thinking about not getting it, let's just think about it this way. May iba pa ba kayong nakikitang way out? May iba ba kayong nakikitang way to end this? Kasi ako wala eh. Wala akong nakikitang ibang way out. And if we are to believe, at least believe the words of some well-respected scientists around the world, they think that this is the way that we can end this and get everyone back to our normal lives and back to work. So I appeal to everybody out there, do your part, do your duty as not, yes, think about yourself. That's also correct. Protect yourself. But at the same time, kasi yung decision mo, it doesn't affect only you. Eh. You affect others. So unfortunately, when it comes to the pandemic, no man is an island. So, and also that's why, diba, vaccines are being delivered, being donated to the Philippines from all over, from other places, because the reason they're doing that is because there's no such thing as a nation being an island, really. If the Philippines is still still has the virus, none of us are safe. No one on earth is safe. So that's all I have to say about that. And I apologize for having spoken so candidly without thinking before.
Right. But thank you for speaking your mind, as always.
Yeah, and I think, because that's the hope. That's the way you said words of encouragement. Yun. Let's do this.
Right. Thank you so much, Rach.
Thank
It was
you.
such a delight to chat with you today. So enlightening and
super missed chatting with
inspiring.
you.
And thanks again. Do you have another interview? I know you came from the pep.ph interview before me.
Yeah, no interview next. It's my Lola's birthday today. Happy birthday, Lola. 88
Wow.
today.
Oh my goodness.
Woo!
Wow. Happy birthday.
She's the one to siya yung model, talagang go person. If there's anyone you would be inspired with my Lola. She drives to this day.
Wow.
She's amazing. My Lola raised me. She raised my sister Barney. She's happy birthday, Lola. I love you and I miss you. I can't wait to be with you again.
She'll be my next guest on TikTok. Thanks
yes,
again,
and
Rich.
ask her how she does it.
All right. Thanks again.
Thanks, Myrza.
And happy
Hope to see
10th
you.
anniversary on April 9 with Carlos.
Thank you. Thank you. Love to Andrea as well.
All right. Oh, we have
Bye.
a message actually from your husband. He's watching.
Hope you can visit us now.
Yes, we definitely will once we can fly again someday.
Yes.
All right.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Thank you again.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. This has been TikTok, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye.